Hello, my wonderful students. You are welcome again to another session of our facilitation on ISL271. Last week, you will remember that we discussed about the demise of Prophet Muhammad SAW and the emergence of the Khalifa that succeeded him. Today, we want to continue from where we stopped. In this lesson today, we'll be looking at something that is called Reader War. Reader War. After the demise of the prophet, there was a war fought by the successor to the position of Khalifa, and it is called Reader War. So what is Reader War? This is what we'll be looking at. And again, we'll be looking at some false prophets that arose after the demise of the prophet. Some people claim to be prophets after the demise of Prophet Muhammad. Don't forget, Prophet Muhammad was said to be the last of all the prophets of God. If new people now rose to claim to be prophets, you see what it means. You can see what it means. So we'll be looking at that, and again we'll be looking at the efforts made by Abu Bakr, who succeeded Prophet Muhammad to the Khilafah, in bringing down all these agitations after the demise of the Prophet Muhammad. And lastly, today we will be looking at other achievements of Abu Bakr Siddiq as the first Khalifa. So my name is Professor Mustafa Adejoro Rahi. If you are ready, let us continue on today's online facilitation. You are welcome. All right. The course is ISL271, as you know. My name is Professor Mustafa Rahim, and this is my email address. Now, today, as I rightly discussed with you earlier, we want to look at what reader war means. We want to define reader. The word reader is an Arabic word that means apostasy. Apostasy. What is apostasy? Apostasy is simply people moving out or renouncing the religion of Islam immediately after the death of the prophet. So there were some moves by some people to get away from Islam and to also destroy the pillars of Islam, the foundation which the prophet has laid down immediately after his death. So that led to a war fought by the successor of the prophet, and it is known as Reader War. So we want to look at it. Then we want to describe the effort made by Abu Bakr to subjugate, that is to bring down all the false prophets and their claims. Then again, in today's lesson, we will look at the circumstances which led to the death of Abu Bakr as the first Khalifa, and the effort made by him to bring up another successor in person of Umar ibn Khattab. Then we want to look at other achievements of Abu Bakr as the Khalifa. Now, reader, in our class activity, reader means apostasy. Apostasy also means secession from Islam. Secession from Islam. The religion of Islam was a new religion that was newly established in Arabia, and it was shortly after the establishment of Islam that the prophet died. So people were, as we said earlier on, that people were confused that Islam might likely be exterminated. So truly, there were so many people that rose and claimed to be prophets immediately after the death of the prophet. So they too, they wanted to claim the leadership, and they were calling themselves prophets of God. So, and this led to the action taken by Abu Bakr Siddiq, who eventually became the Khalifa of the Prophet, that is the successor to the position of leadership, to wage war against the rebellions that arose immediately after the death of the Prophet. So, Rida is therefore the war fought against these rebellions that rose immediately after the death of Prophet Muhammad, to bring people back to the religion of Islam. And more so, We have some people that decided not to pay zakat again. They said since Prophet had died, there was no need to pay zakat, and zakat was meant to take care of the poor in the society. So these people, they wanted to abandon the payment of zakat, and all this led to the war of Ridda, which made Abu Bakr to bring them back to the fold of Islam. Now, let us look at some of the people that claimed prophethood. One of them was Musaylima al-Kadhab. Al-Kadhab means the liar. Musaylima was a liar. So he belonged to Banu Hanif tribe in Yamama. So Yamama is in the central Arabia. He claimed to be a prophet immediately after the demise of the prophet. Another person was Aswad Ansi. He was the chief of the Ansi tribe in Yemen too. He too claimed to be a prophet after the demise of the prophet. Then we have Tulaiha, who belonged to the tribe of Asad in northern Arabia. And another person was a woman by name Sajjah bint Haris. So she was daughter of Haris. She too belonged to Banu Tamim. So they all claimed to be prophets. So what were the efforts made by Abu Bakr to subjugate, that is to bring down all these false claims? So he first repulsed an invasion. These false prophets, they organized an invasion against Medina to attack Medina so that they will be able to bring Islam down, to quench Islam. So he organized an army or a war that subjugated these insurgents. Then it was done at the time when Usama, that he was a great warrior who just arrived from a Syrian expedition which was set up by Prophet Muhammad shortly before his death. So when he brought back the army was divided into 11 divisions. So each division was commissioned to go and attack different rebels, different rebellions. So, and the general commander of the army was Khalid ibn Walid. Was a brilliant general of army general who fought gallantly to subjugate all these rebellions. So he forced many tribes to submit to Islam again. So on different encounters, all these people were brought down, they were defeated, and Abu Bakr was able to bring back Islam to its rightful position. So that was the efforts made by Abu Bakr then. So now, in the 6th month of the lunar calendar, that is in the Jumada al-Akhirah, Abu Bakr became ill. That is in 13 AH, that is 13 years after the Hijrah of Prophet Muhammad. So he became sick, and in his sickbed, he had to consult a shura, the Muslim consultative forum, to decide who to become the Khalifa after him. So generally, he nominated Umar ibn Khattab to succeed him. And in the shura, we have eminent personalities like Umar, Usman, Ali, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, Muaz ibn Jabal, Ubay ibn Ka'b, and Zaid ibn Thabit, and so many other Muhajirun and Ansar, those who followed the Prophet from Mecca to Medina, and those in Medina who welcomed them. So Muhajirun are those who came from Mecca, while the Ansar were those who welcomed them in Medina. So they formed the Shura, and among them, Abu Bakr now proposed Umar, who was nominated to succeed him, and the nomination was generally accepted and adopted. So, in a nutshell, to summarize what we have done, we have discussed Rida and its meaning, and we have looked at the efforts made by Abu Bakr to bring down all the false prophets who claimed to prophet after Prophet Muhammad. And we look at Abu Bakr's death and the emergence of Umar as his successor. So we also listed some of Abu Bakr's achievements as a Khalifa. So that is for this week, and I want to thank you for listening. God bless you.